Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be diving into the magical world of long exposure photography. We'll go beyond basic adjustments and explore how I developed them further into what's often called fine art editing, focusing on blending the horizon to create a truly mystical and ethereal atmosphere. Okay, so in this video I'm going to be processing this long exposure that I took at Happisburgh beach in Norfolk. I've done the conversion in Adobe Photoshop Raw already, and I used a basic adaptive black and white preset and just a few little tweaks just to get the conversion looking nice, so I'm happy with that. But the main element here now is to get rid of this horizon. So to start off with, we need to duplicate our layer here. So we're going to keep this one as a master for later. So select it and press Ctrl and J to duplicate it. Right click on the duplicated layer and rasterize it. This is going to allow us to make these edits, and we're going to work with just one layer on the top before doing some tweaks with the master layer. First things first then, let's get some guides up. So View, Guides, New Guide Layout. I like to choose 15 on a landscape like this. You can choose as many as you want. It depends how much time you got and how much you want to really go into the process. I would recommend around 15, but again, feel free to choose however many you want. And you'll see why in a minute when we start drawing. If you haven't got your rulers showing up here, all you need to do is click on View and Rulers. You can press Ctrl and R as well to bring them and turn them on and off, but just do that and make sure you got your rulers. With your rulers up on the screen, click and drag down to around there, and the same again around there. And as you can see, this has given us 15 squares that we can start filling in and drawing in our little gradients on. Now the gradients are going to be there to give us a base layer for our horizon blending. So we're going to zoom in slightly. Just click on the rectangle tool here and select rectangle. Now the guides will allow us to snap to, as it's called, and we'll draw these grids here. So as you can see, I've been doing these guides before. So if we just click on the fill, double click the bottom, change the color with the teeth pipette, double click for the top, change the color with the teeth pipette, and job done. Repeat that. So we'll run through that once more. Again, don't worry about going too close to the lines because Photoshop will snap the grid together. Change these colors on each square. It'll remember the last ones that you did. So double click bottom, double click for the top, and using your pipette there, like so, and repeat. So this is the third one. Change the bottom gradient color. Change the top. Simple. Repeat that for all 15 or however many squares that you've decided to do. Okay, so that's all 15 of our rectangles drawn. So zoom back out, Ctrl 0 to fill the screen. We don't need these guides anymore, so we're going to click on View, Guides, Clear Guides. As you can see, we've got lots of lines that need removing, but the horizon from top to bottom has started to look a lot more like it's being blended. So click on Rectangle 15, Shift click Rectangle 1, Rasterize Layers. Next, click on left click on Rectangle 15, and this time include your duplicated layer with the Shift key and merge all those layers there. So now we've got our master copy that is unchanged, and on top of this we've got a copy with our square gradients for the horizon blending. So if we go back in and we're going to start removing some of these lines, click on the patch tool. So it's over here on the left, and with J, patch tool. So click, draw a random shape, and just click and drag and move over. Repeat this on all the bits that you see that are solid lines, and make something that sticks out, basically, nice and simple. So you do that like that, and everything will start blending together nicely. The beauty of this is everything is random, so it does start making it more artistic in the approach that it will never be the same again. If I start this photo again today, I probably won't be doing exactly the same shape. So in some element, it will be completely different. So as you can see, random shapes, click and drag, and repeat that all across the board. Okay, so once you've gone through that phase one, just zoom out to have another look. And if you zoom all the way out, it helps give you a better understanding of all the bits that may have been missed. But as you can see, it is starting to look like sea mist and a nice blend on the horizon as well. So just go back in and go over a few bits again, just to your heart's content, really. You can sit here as long as you want doing this, but it's your piece of art until you're happy and ready to stop to move to the next stage. You decide. Nice and simple. And the next process will also help get rid of a lot of it as well, because you're going to be using the brush tool to start brushing in some colors. Now, you probably think we could just do this straight away with the brush tool, but this process beforehand gives a strong hand on making sure that everything is as blended as possible. So we'll try with the brush tool now then. So with the brush tool selected, we're going to make sure we got a nice, so if you want to change your brushes, you got your brush tool up here, or you can right click on the screen and change your brush as well. So we're going to go for a soft brush. That's way too big. That's fine. So we press, make it smaller using the square brackets, left and right. So we're going to go like that. Select what color that we want, roughly something around there. And we want a very low opacity, 21, about 20, nothing more than that really. And just start going over some of these. Click and drag, just paint over it to your heart's content. So hopefully you will now start seeing why we did a lot of the layers as we did. Change your colors in between. We want to be blending this in as much as possible. Click and drag, swipe over. The low opacity will help us greatly in just allowing us to click as much as we want. At the same time, applying very little change. That looks nice. Again, this is artistic. It's up to you. You be the person who decides how it looks. No one else. Do this picture for you. Don't do it for anyone else. I'm quite happy with that. Zoom out. There's still a bit of patches over there, but I'm happy with it as it is for now. Now, another thing that I like to do is I have these brushes and plugins called Atmos Pro 1. I'll put a link in the description so that you can see where they are and go online and have a look. But they basically fog overlays, dust overlays, clouds, a little bit of everything, smoke. They're really quite useful. Well, I like using them in such a situation as this, whereas you can click and drag them and put them into your photo. Zoom out a little bit there, make it bigger, and then just like you would in sort of film editing, change it to a screen. As you can see now, it's too bright, but that's easily fixable. I quite like that there, so then change the opacity down. Fix that brightness so it goes a little bit more grey. It's just another way of helping blend in those layers. But as you can see, we've still got these clouds all here in the horizon that make it look like blend is as minimal as possible. Nice. I'm not going to do any more than that for now. I think I quite like that. Once we're happy, click these three layers, left click and shift to select them and drag them down into a folder. We'll call this Horizon Blend. You don't have to name them at all, but it just often is good practice and makes things a little bit easier if you start getting layers upon layers upon layers. Horizon Blend. Nice. So close that off and left click on your master layer. Now we're going to be using this here to make a mask. So, okay, so go up here and select your object selection tool, and you want to draw around the mast that's in the water, because we want to take this detail and mask it out. So Photoshop will do the mask for us. Now with that all selected, you can see the marching ants around it. What we need to do is just click on this mask here. But first of all, select group 1, turn it back on, group 1 and mask. It doesn't look quite right, but that's because the mask needs to be inverted. So with the mask selected, press Ctrl-I to invert the mask. Then what you can do is select on that to see that. Press out. Now we need to do a little bit of work on this bit here. So click on the mask. Use our brush tool. Crease outflow. And just get rid of this sharp edge that we've got here. Blend that mist back in. But the rest of it is absolutely fine. Look at it. I mean, it looks really, really good. So zoom back out. There you have a nice blended horizon. It might be a little bit white, a little bit too bright, but I don't dislike that. What we're going to do now, though, is if you haven't got the Lumenzia panel, I recommend you take a look. I'll put the link for that as well in the description as well, so you can have a look. It's got lots of shortcuts. I'll leave that for maybe another time or for you to look up yourself, but it's a quick way of doing different layers. So we can do a nice brightness contrast layer. Select this button to apply it just to our group that we've got there. As you can see, it's affecting everything in that group. It won't affect the mask that we've done on that mast in the water. So I just wanted to make it a little bit more high key. That's quite nice. Quite like that. Turn that on and off. Very nice. I quite like that. And then again, using the Lumenzia tool, we're going to put a vignette on here, but focus the center of the vignette on the mast. Very nice. Not sure if that's a bit too in your face, but that's all right. Now, while we're here, and as we've mentioned Lumenzia, Greg Benz is the creator, and he's done a cracking little tool called Dust. So if you click on it, it allows you to see all your dust spots that you've got going on. So we can clear up these dust spots as well while we're here. So it's not going to affect. It does it as a new layer. What have I done there? Got to zoom in on them a little bit more. So just click and it clone stamps them out. He does all these things. When you press the button over here for dust, it selects all the tools that you need as well. It's very much a quick. You can see also my sensor spots as well. We've got a little bit of heat build up from the long exposure. I'm not going to be too concerned about them. And you can see more of the work that we've done over here as well. But let's just focus on these sensor spots and dust was built up over here. Nice. We can delete that layer. And that is our finished article. I like it very much. I hope you do too as well. Now, as I sort of said at the beginning, there are loads of different ways of blending these horizons and putting your own artistic approach on it. But this is the one that I have sort of, I wouldn't say developed, but I've sort of picked up bits and bobs here as we go along and sort of created my own way of doing it. Again, that's what I like. I like this soft muted approach. I like it a lot. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a like and leave a comment. I do love hearing from you. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Your support really helps me make these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.